Welcome to the best sorcerer build of Season 9. This is a fan favorite, easy to play, ultra strong Hydra build. You can simply place your Hydra and those guys got buffed like crazy and they will be eating and spitting fire at everything in its wake. This is not only one of the best leveling builds, it's also a top 3 all classes build. So one of the only S-tier builds that the Sorc has, and one of the very few S-tier builds overall, only next to the Spiritborn and the Necromancer. So Hydra Sorcerer is eating good, and like I said, you can play it all the way from leveling, all the way until the highest pits, basically. And it's gonna be super fun to play. I have a leveling build, I have endgame builds, there's a dot and a direct version, so a ton of versatility and different setups that I want to talk about here in this video. And obviously we're going to show you some gameplay here. This is just the build in action. This was like some early testing on the PTR, and it's just eating those Torment 4 bosses alive. And this was just a very unoptimized setup, and there's even some buffs to it, making it much smoother to teleport, place a Hydra, teleport, place a Hydra. So the footage that you see here is even without those buffs. They also fixed the enchantment in the recent patch notes, so it's gonna go much crazier than the speed that you see here. So you basically can teleport, place a Hydra, and then teleport again, place another Hydra. And it's just like an ultra fast build, and the Hydra is gonna grow very big. They're gonna be all over the screen, and like T4 is gonna be a joke. Pit 100 is gonna be a joke for this build. All the Uber bosses are gonna be a joke for this build. Again, one of the strongest builds here. And this is the new amulet here that they put into the game. And they even buffed this from what it was on the PTR. It's no longer Devouring Blaze, but it is Primordial Binding passive now, making and opening up the build to the dot and a direct damage version even further. They did also buff the rune here. If you're playing a direct version, they buffed the invoked Hydra rune to give you a 50x multiplier on your crit plus a 20% crit chance. So this is extremely strong. And like I said, this is the leveling build here. We're not using a weapon in the leveling builds because we're going to be constantly changing our weapons and updating it. You can see the aspects here. We're going to mostly focus on the endgame build here with the new Serpentine aspect that basically consumes all your mana to make the Hydra big, large and strong, basically. And we have the teleport enchantment, of course. So this is just a leveling build, basically playing Firewall and Hydra. And Hydra is the only skill in the game that now doesn't cost any mana, and it also doesn't have any cooldown. So you can basically just spam it, and you're never going to run out of resources, or you never have to deal with any cooldown. So this is the leveling planner. But what we're going to be focused most about here is the starter version with no Uber Uniques, and then you can transition into a dot version here with Uber Uniques in the end. So we'll get started on this. So the main principle of the build is, guys, again, this new amulet here that has now been juiced to primordial bindings, and you're going to have a lot of summons. Your Hydras are also count as summons, and it's going to give you a ton of mana regeneration, which you need because you're going to be spending it all every cast, and it's going to give you a ton of DPS. So this is the Orphan Iris, is in the new unique amulet. If you're looking at the loot table here, I'm not quite 100% sure where this drops, but you can just go here, just type it in here, and then you see the Harbinger of Hated, Echo of Duriel, and Andariel. They all have a chance to drop this amulet, and of course, you can also get it very easily from Belial if you have the mats to just choose like the Andariel loot table or something. So, should be pretty comfortable to get this amulet, and this is basically like not completely build enabling, but it's a very strong item. And this has only good stats in percent, attack speed, pyromancy damage, and primordial bindings. Pretty insane amulet. Then, like in most Sorc builds, you want a Tarasha one. This one drops from Varshan. A ton of cooldown, ton of damage with all the different elements. And you are rocking lightning with Lightning Spear, which also counts as a summon to give you more primordial binding ranks, and it also counts as lightning. Same for the teleport. Hydra is obviously fire, and then we have ice blades and ice armor here for the cold element. And we also have familiar, giving you even more multipliers and even more summons, going completely crazy, and even more damage. And then, as long as you don't have a Starless Skies, I recommend the Battle Caster aspect. This one is really, really strong, especially early on when you don't have a lot of ranks to your Hydra yet, right? You don't have a Shaco, you don't have the Starless Guy giving you all these core skill ranks, but you do have this very easy to find aspect that gives you +1 rank whenever your Hydra or any of your other conjuration critical strike. Whenever they hit an enemy, they don't even need to critical strike. They just need to lucky hit, and you're gonna get +1 rank. This lasts up to 12 seconds, and it stacks 10 times. So you're just slapping this aspect on, and you're getting +10 ranks to all of your conjurations, which is gonna be completely wild and a lot of damage, like getting an extra 10 Hydra ranks here from this Battle Caster aspect. And then you're stacking here Inferno cooldown. This is going to be the ultimate that pulls in enemies. You have a pixel pool with this, and it also increases your pyromancy skills. This is all your fire stuff, including the Hydra, by another 50% X. So very, very strong here. And then we're also rocking the Revived Horn. This one has also been juiced up. It buffs your summon damage, and your Hydra obviously is a summon, right? It has the summoning tech, and this gives you another 50% X multiplicative here. This one got buffed from the PTR as well. Then we have the Scornful Light, just more elemental damage. Again, we're doing fire damage here with the Hydra. And the Idol from below, summoning extra elites, giving you extra life and extra multiplicative damage. Then we're going here to the Helm slot. So obviously in the endgame version, guys, you want to play the Harlequin's Crest. The Harlequin's Crest gives you these resources, it gives you a ton of cooldown, and the resources is feeding into the Serpentine aspect here, which is your craziest multiplier, scaling directly with your resources, with your mana. So Harlequin's Crest Masterwork resource is very good. But when you don't have a Harlequin's Crest yet, which no one will have when the season starts, you can play the Ale of Verglas. So you're not using ice shots here. You're only using this helm because it has so crazy stats. You have int %, which is basically a multiplier. You have attack speed, which is affecting your Hydra's attack rate. And you have a tremendous amount of cooldown reduction, which is going to help you with your teleport. It's going to help you with your lightning spears, with your familiar, with your ice armor, and with your inferno. So Ale of Verglas is extremely powerful early on, and also it's very easy to find, right? You can just go here on the list again, and you can just go for Verglas, and you know it's also dropping from Gregoire and from the Uravar. So very easy to target farm this directly at the start, and it's just extremely strong. Then we are rocking the Raiment of the Infinite here, also pretty much a no-brainer. In the end, guys, when you have Ubers, you can switch this to a Shroud of the False Death. And again, you're going to replace all this. You're going to put a Starless Sky in, Harlequin's Crest, and Shroud of False Death as you get them. But again, this is just a starter version, no Uber needed, and it's going to be very, very strong. Then you have another crazy aspect here. This is a direct damage, a crit-based version, which I think is going to be much easier to gear early on, and then you're going to transition into the ultra late game. You're going to transition into the dot version, which is, I think, even slightly stronger for high pits. But again, the direct version got a lot of juice here again. The flash fire aspect you can see here, it increases the crit damage of pyromancy skills by 45x, and it's doubled if you're hitting a healthy target. So especially if you're doing speed farming, you don't want to wait until the dot ticks down the enemy. You're basically just using this like flash fire aspect, all the crit multipliers, and you're using the invoked Hydra with high crit, with 50x crit damage, 20 crit chance, and you have the combustion here, also giving you a crit chance and crit damage. So you're basically good on crit chance. You don't even have to worry. Even if you have shit gear, you're going to be kind of fine on crit chance. Even without the Starless Sky, you know, you're going to have a ton of crit chance just because you're getting like 60% from your skills alone. And that's already going to be wild. And you're going to be doubling the damage, and you have many multipliers. And then here, we are rocking Actual Conduit. Here, you can also play Tybet's Will. However, Actual Conduit is the best. And you might ask, yeah, but Rob, we're not playing Chain Lightning. But what this pants does, it gives you more resource generation and more maximum resource. And this goes up pretty crazy if you have a greater affix or you double or triple crit it. And it basically allows you to generate all your mana from 0 back to full in a few seconds, so we can spam Hydra at all times and make full use of the Serpentine aspect while we can still, like, you know, run around and blast like crazy. So Actual Conduit, the best. Tybet's Will also works for sure. Then we have the Orange Herald here, as many Sorc builds do. This just helps you with keeping up a permanent Inferno, and this is just a snake. It's going to pull everything in all the time. It's going to make you deal 1.5x, so you want to have this as permanently up as possible. And then on the big weapon, guys, we have the Serpentine aspect. This is going to give us 3% damage X for every single 1 mana point. Pretty crazy, and you also really want to have the Hydra having extra heads here, because that's basically a separate multiplier with the amulet here. So that's definitely what you want to masterwork. And you're putting this on a 2-hander, you can get up to plus 12 ranks on this. Up to plus 12 heads, so that's going to be super wild. Also very important here to have a chance to restore primary resource on lucky hit. And this one is also juiced up with your actual conduit and your primordial bindings, giving you like instantly like full resource basically whenever you trigger lucky hits. And you're going to be triggering quite a lot because you're going to be attacking with all these spells here. We quickly talk about the runes here. In the starter setup, we're using Neo. I didn't use any legendary runes. Obviously, legendary runes are better, but you're not going to have them when you're starting out. This is only like a 200 and sub 200 Paragon version. So you're using Neo and Se. And those Spirit Wolves, they also count as summons. And they're going to give you more damage with Primordial Binding, and they're going to give you more mana as well. And then, especially early on, I think a lot of more casual players will going to be struggling with resources. Obviously, in the end game, you can play like an Omrune here, but I think early on, you want to be playing Nagu, or like, there's like also some other runes that you can use, like Seer with Lam, or Igni, or Tekla, whichever one you're getting, right? I think it's completely fair to get this one, and then with Lam, you're going to get like a bunch of resources, basically. So that's pretty much the build. We're using the Smoldering Ember here for additional burn damage, and you also remove the Chilling Winds. And then we have the Bloody Charm here, giving you more attack speed, which is going to be pretty crazy with the Anomaly here. Basically, like your Hydra is going to be benefiting from the attack speed, and they're going to attack fast, and they're going to eat everything. And then you have Bottled Wind here. This is a defensive one, especially good early on, giving you a crazy amount of barrier. And the Fractured Core, which basically removes all damage resistance auras, guys, and helping you out a lot in the pits, because it's not always super intuitive where the Hydra is going to shoot, right? In a big pull, if the Hydra is not shooting at the damage resistance guy and he's doing his aura, then it's going to be very fucked up. And the best thing is to have this Fractured Core to remove all that. And then, once you transition into the end game here, you can like put an Omrune here because you're going to fix your resources. Harlequin's Crest. You have the Shroud of False Death giving you more resources, and you have the Starless Sky helping you out a lot with Lucky Hit and everything. And yeah, that's pretty much the setup. And then obviously there's also a dot version here where you would switch the runes here. We'll talk about the skill tree in a bit more detail after the setup. Basically switch from the invoked Hydra to the summoned Hydra, giving you double burn damage. And then you're basically scaling burn damage, and you're also changing to the battle caster here, because you're not really benefiting from the crit damage anymore from the flash fire, right? And then obviously you're also going to be changing like quite some stuff in your Paragons. But we're going to be, I think, more focusing on this like starter variant here. I think direct damage is the best. So skill tree looks like this. 3 in Elemental Dominance, because your Hydra is a core skill, and that's going to increase damage. You want to definitely put 3 points in Devastation. You need more mana to basically make the Serpentine aspect damage go crazy. So all the mana you can get, you want to put. Then we have Teleport here. We're getting the Crackling Energy, which gives us damage. We have Ice Armor here, which is going to be very nice for defensive. Glass Cannon, Hydra with the crit rune. So this is going to be very strong in general. Additional heads here for the Hydra, always good. We have Ice Blades, and right now we have Lightning Spear. So the reason why I like Lightning Spear on the PTI is because it stuns everything. It makes everything vulnerable. It also stuns stuff when it critical strikes, and it's also a summoning, which gives you more damage with Primordial Binding. Same here for Familiar, basically. Then we're also rocking Mana Shield. We are rocking the Devouring Blaze in the crit build. If you're not playing the crit build, you don't want this, because crit damage doesn't work for dots. But here in the direct damage build, you want this. And then you just basically stack all the multipliers here. You have Inferno, you have more stuff down here. More damage, basically, more cooldown, and then here you have the Convulsions, giving you another 15x with the Crackling Energy, and all this Crackling Energy is going to be spawned by the Mythical Teleport from your enchantment. And then you have Essus Ferocity, giving you even more crit damage multiplier and even more crit chance. You know, on the dot version, you're actually playing with the Enlightenment passive, because, again, you're not really benefiting from these multipliers here, and Combustion has been nerfed pretty heavily. Enlightenment has also been nerfed, but it's still very strong with mana generation, 70x damage, and attack speed, a very good passive here. And then, obviously, you don't want Devouring Blaze in this dot version. Going back to the direct damage version, looking at the Paragons, I have like a 250, and I think we're going to be looking at the 200 board. I think I still need to put away some points. But basically, we're playing Eliminator in the starter board. We are playing Tactician here, big multipliers, focus on damage. Then we have the Searing Heart, more DPS for Pyromancy. We have Ceaseless Conduit. This, I think, almost goes in every Sorcerer build. And we are rocking this here with Destruction Glyph. As long as you're playing crit, this is going to be insane. Then we are rocking the Enchantment Master. So the enchantments are stronger. We don't really know exactly what they changed with the Hydra. So we're playing the Hydra and the Teleport enchantment to move around. And the Hydra enchantment, basically, it should always spawn a second Hydra when you are rocking here with Serpentine. They specifically said this in the patch notes. So I assume that's how it's going to work. We'll see in practice. But the idea is you're going to have like 300 mana. And every time you cast a Hydra, it's going to consume all your mana with your Serpentine aspect, and then your enchantment that they changed, we haven't tested this, they changed this from the PTR, is going to proc another Hydra. So you basically cast one Hydra, spend all your mana, and that will trigger your enchantment every time. So you're going to be basically always spawning 2 Hydras. That's how I imagine how this will work. We'll have to see when the game is live, but I think this is going to be extremely strong, and they also made the Hydra smarter here. In the patch notes by basically allowing it to, I think, attack the enemies. Yeah, here. Attack the enemies more immediately. So the Hydra heads now attack immediately when they spawn. So you can kind of see here in this footage, like sometimes the Hydra, it's like, you know, thinking about what monster do I attack. I think they attacked like kind of fast already, but it's going to be even faster than what you see in this footage here. So yeah. I think the Sorc is going to be flying, basically. Teleport, Hydra. Teleport, Hydra. And here I don't have the Hydra enchantment, because on the PTR it didn't work. So it's going to be like, teleport, you have to only cast one Hydra, but it's always going to spawn 2. So teleport, Hydra, teleport 2 Hydras, teleport 2 Hydras. It's going to be pretty insane, and I think a pretty fast speed farming build. And again, also, of course, one of the best, boss killers here out there. So we're going to be one-shotting the T4 bosses and everything. So I'm looking forward to this, man. This build's gonna be pretty wild, I hope. I think we didn't like fully finish the Paragon board, so let me go back to it for a second. And there was Ceaseless Conduit. I mean, the planners are below. There's Elementalist here, again, because with the Tarashas, we did all the 3 elements anyways. And then last but not least here, we have the Elemental Summoner board, and this has all the Conjuration multipliers. And I think we're gonna put out some more Paragon points. So this can become, you know, like a little bit of a lower maintenance board. So we would put like, you know, some of the stuff. I have the 250 board here as well, but we're going to probably transfer this into like a Paragon 200 board. There's always some easy stuff that we can, you know, take out and just get later, basically. And then you can kind of see the progression. So 230. And then there, you can probably figure out like some more stuff to pretty comfortably take out. So like all this stuff we don't necessarily need whenever there's like 2 of them. But yeah, this is already going to be pretty strong, I think. Crit chance, yeah. Here we can get rid of some armor usually. Like it depends. So this is already like 220. And then, you know, you can take out like some more stuff here just to basically be okay at like around 200 Paragon. Early on, you just want to basically mainly like focus on pathing through. So you don't have to worry about getting like super high Paragon, because you're going to get most of the power just from the multipliers. And then at the end, you know, you're going to be like basically like doing this and like filling out the full boards and the full Paragons. So this is like 210 Paragon. I think it's going to be okay. And this is the full build. And yeah, here's the build in action again. Like it's just so crazy strong. And I think most people are going to have a lot of fun with this Hydra Sorc. I think it's going to be the most popular and overall, again, one of the strongest builds. I actually think it's realistically number 2. Only the Thorn Spiritborn has, I think, good potential to outclass this. and only slightly. And the Thorn Spiritborn is not really that great in speed farming. So I think the Hydra Sorcerer is eating good, and I think it's also going to be one of the most popular builds here. Let me know in the comments what you think and what class you are starting. I'm certainly going to be playing with, you know, some Hydra Sorcerers in my group together. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to start Spiritborn or the Hydra Sorc myself. You know, you have the B for Barb tier, and then you have the S tier for Spiritborn and for Sorc. S in Sorc, S in Spiritborn. So that's how it looks right now, and obviously that's also very much reflected here on the tier list. So yeah, do yourself a solid, guys. The Hydra Sorc is going to be awesome. I think you'll enjoy it. It's also very casual friendly because, you know, you can just cast your Hydra. It's going to sit there. It's going to shoot all the monsters, and I don't know, you can take a sip from your drink, or you can, you know, do whatever you want, like chill a bit, watch a movie, and your Hydra is going to be eating the entire screen, or you know, be very active, you teleport around and blast everything down with your Hydra. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Again, all the links, same for leveling, same for endgame, are gonna be below, and yeah, this is gonna be, I think, the #1 most played build of the entire season. Hydra Sorcerer army, let's go. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day, so come and say hi.